This is my sketch of the grabber from Blackphone, and today I'm going to guide you through all the steps so that you could draw this yourself. So grab a pencil and paper and let's get started. Welcome back everyone, and thanks for joining me today. So in this drawing lesson, we're drawing the grabber from Blackphone, and I gotta be honest, this sequel surprised the hell out of me. Easily one of the best horror follow-ups I've seen in a long time. The tension, the mask, the whole vibe, perfect for creepy little sketch sessions. Now for this lesson, I'm gonna be drawing with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick. Now if you don't have a mechanical pencil, anything you have around the house will work just fine. So let's start off by breaking down the basic shape and composition of the head with some guidelines. We're gonna start at the very top of our page in the middle. Just going to sketch a line coming down the center, just using these short lines. Now let's move back to the center and draw another line going across from left to right. Now I want to use these two lines to help us create a large circle in the center of our page to define the size of the head. So from that center point, let's move up to right about here. It's going to mark off the top of our circle. Let's measure that distance down towards the bottom and do the same thing. Let's repeat that across this horizontal line. So measure the distance from the center over towards the left and then the right side. And you want to connect the center point of each mark with a curve to create the circle. Now the circle doesn't have to be perfect, we're just using this as a guide. So we just go around to smooth this out as best we can. So adjusting the shape. Let's add another line coming down the side from left to right. I'm just going to extend it up towards the top. And these lines will help us align the horns. Let's add another line going across the bottom of our circle. Now with our circle and guidelines in place, I'm going to start adding the key facial features. Let's start with the eyes. We're going to place the eyes along the bottom half of the circle. So from here, step down, just going to draw a straight line going across. Just across the top of the eyelid. And you want to create a gap in between the eyes. So from the center line, step over, draw a straight line coming down. Now take that same distance over towards the right and do the same thing. Now from these 2 points right here, it's going to angle the eye, going up and then out towards the top, toward that center line. Angle this down and out towards the side. Let's go back to the inside. I'm just going to curl the brow, coming in and then back up. Let's open up the eyes. From the outside, angle this down and in. Come down and in with a straight angle line towards the inside. And then pull that up towards the inside of the brow. Now I'm going to follow this line all the way down towards the bottom. Let's draw a circle along the tip of the nose. And we want to flare out the nostrils. From the side, angle the nose going up and then out toward the left and right. And I'm just going to flatten off the top with a straight line. Now from the outside corner of the nose, we're going to angle this down and then out towards the side. It's going to come as far as the outside edge of the eye. So we can add a guideline if we need this. So we just line this up. Now with the mouth, we're going to come down and then in towards the center. Let's open up the mouth. Starting back on the left side, angle this down and in. Curve this down and then in towards the middle. Now we want to separate the teeth right in the center. The line coming down. Now let's go back to the corners of the mouth. We're going to add a fold coming down and in towards the chin on both sides. Right about there. And just curve the bottom. Let's step down, add another straight line going across the bottom of the chin. Now we're going to go back to this mouth line. Right here, it's going to angle this down and in towards the chin. Let's go all the way back up towards the top. From this point right here, we're going to step down. It's going to bump up the head, going up and then out. Now we're going to place the horns along the side. So just curve this down and then out towards the outside. Let's go back up to that top point right here. Bend the horns going out and then up. Let's curve the outside of the horn, going out, down, and then back in. Now let's add the hair along the outside. We're going to start with the volume. Starting from the top of the horn, we're going to go up, bend this across and down, step up, add a fold going across towards the right side. Now let's add some volume of the hair just underneath the horns. I'm going to bend this down and out on both sides. Curve this down and then bend that in towards the bottom. Now that we have the rough sketch in place, let's go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. And once we clean up our drawing, I'm going to go back and just use this rough sketch as a guide to just help us layer on some more details and refine the shapes. So we start with the inside of the brow, just modifying the shape, adding a little bit of a wrinkle. Now it's going to work our way across the top of the eye. Now with the eye holes, we're going to add a little bit of a bevel. So it's going to trace the bottom and across with a thin gap towards the inside. And right here, just going to add another fold just underneath the eyes. Now right with the nose bridge, right in the center, add a curve coming across. The angle is down, aiming towards the corner of the mouth. Right here. I'm just going to bend this down and then in. Now let's go back to the nose. We're going to start with the center. Add a curve. It's going to flare up the nostrils, going up toward the side. So we'll round up the nostrils and just tuck that in toward the side. Let's darken up the nostrils. Now it's going to pull that skin going around the nostrils, up, and then bring that down. Let's pull the nose going up and then in. That's going to enhance that fold, going around from the nose towards the corner of the mouth. I'm just going to add the mouth. Just going to add a slight curve going around and then up towards the corner. Now with the teeth, we're going to start in the center. We're just going to separate this with a straight line coming up and down, go out to the side, and continue to add these vertical lines. We're just lining up the teeth. No need to get into too much detail here yet. And then along the top, we're going to add the gum line, going up and then down, in between each of those lines. Just going to add that lower lip. Now I'm going to add a little bit more shape to the cheeks. Just going to round this out, coming down toward the jaw, and pull this in. Now it's going to enhance the brow by pulling this up and then in toward the top. And then from the inside, going up and then out. Now it's going to add some more texture to the hair. So we're just going to brush this across towards the left. From the mask, just adding some texture across the bottom. And then along the side, I'm just going to brush this out. So I'm going to add some points across the outside. And we can give the hair a little bit of a wave. Just going to have the hair flowing down towards the bottom. Now I'm going to go back and just do a rough cleanup before we get into the details and shading. Now inside the eyes, just going to draw the eyelid. Just going to bend this up and then out. Draw the bottom of the eye coming down and out. And we're just going to tuck the iris and pupil underneath the eyelid. So we're going to add a curve. So we just want to mark out the placement first before we get too strong with the contrast. Add a small circle in the center for the pupil. And then over on the right side, we're going to add a small highlight. Let's darken up the center of the pupil. And start to add some contrast to our drawing. Now I'm going with my 0.9mm pencil and just darken the area around the eyes. I'm also going to darken up the iris and pupil, go around that highlight. I'm also going to darken up that upper lip. And we're going to go in and just darken up the gum line with a medium shade. Now we're just going to add some texture to the hair. So starting along the edge of the mask, it's going to brush the hair going up and out with these short lines. Then from the outside, I'm just going to brush this in. So create this nice little highlight in the center of the hair. You can just add some curls as well. We're going to do the same thing across the side of the head. Again, just darkening up that texture along the side. And from the outside, again, we're just going to work our way in. Just adding these points. I'm just going to fade this down towards the bottom of our page. Now I'm going to use the side edge of my 2mm pencil to add some shadows and textures. So we're going to start along the bottom of the horn. We're going to leave a slight gap to create a bit of a highlight effect. I'm just going to darken up that shadow and then blend that up. And this technique will help give some shape to our drawing. Add a little bit of texture going up. We're going to do the same thing on the right. I'm just going to add that glare going across the bottom of the brow. Again, just adding a little bit of a gap and highlight. Now the nose is going to cast a shadow coming down towards the mouth. So it's going to darken at the top and then fade that down towards the center. And we'll darken up the side of the teeth and then fade that in. And this effect will help push and curve the side of the mouth. Now with the hair, it's going to darken up the sides and then push that out. And this will help soften up that texture of hair. Now I'm going to go back and just layer some fine textures and detail of cracks going across the mask. You can go on top of a shading. And as we get closer to the end, we're just going to tighten up our shadows and details, and always be sure to sign our artwork. And that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of the grabber from Black Phone. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please be sure to subscribe because I'm posting new lessons every single week. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.